Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVIDIA weekly analysis and assessment. NVIDIA is about to touch 130 level again. Can NVIDIA make another all-time high before the earnings? Let's talk about in this video. We'll also try to make an assessment for next week using latest data analysis in this video. Now, let's get started. On Friday, Nvidia made another positive closing. So 3 days in a row last week, Nvidia had positive closing. So that's a very good sign. And also that tells Nvidia is trying to gain positive momentum before the earnings. Last 5 days, Nvidia up about 13.78%. Last 1 month is still negative 7.33%. Year to date down about 6.12%. Last 1 year, Nvidia went up about 86%. So after making all-time high of 153, Nvidia went down to about 113 sometime last week or before last week. So that's about more than 33% correction in just few weeks. So in my opinion, that's good enough. I'm not expecting Nvidia to go down again to 112 level before the earnings. And if you take a look the weekly candlestick chart, you can notice the big green candlestick for last week. So that's a good sign. And before that, we had a red candlestick. So last 7, 8, or 9 weeks, we did not have clarity of direction. But starting from last week, I think Nvidia should maintain the positive momentum next week as well. And also should try to touch 153 level in next few weeks before the earnings. NVIDIA earnings is on February the 26th. So we have less than 3 weeks to go. So it's hard to say that NVIDIA would be able to beat the all-time high in next 3 weeks. But I think NVIDIA would try to make at least one attempt. Now let's take a look forward PE for NVIDIA and other AI stocks. NVIDIA forward PE as of Friday was on 37.5, much higher than 1 week prior closing. So it's going in the right direction. So in next week or two, I'm guessing Nvidia forward key would go above 40. So that would translate to about 135 or 140. So that's my assessment for next week or two. Palantir 205.28. Palantir also had a very good time last week. SMCI, as I mentioned in my previous video, got the positive momentum. So I'm still positive that SMCI should touch 40 sometime next week. AMD 24.28 forward P. AMD continues to go down and near-term outlook is not very positive for AMD. Now let's take a look technical charts for Nvidia. You see 180-day hourly interval chart for Nvidia on your screen and also Fibonacci levels. As of this point, Nvidia is trading around 129. The next level of resistance is 133.5. And this resistance level, in my understanding, is a strong resistance. So once Nvidia breaks this 133, then it would be much easy for Nvidia to go and touch 141. So let's see if Nvidia can be able to break in first attempt this level of 133 sometime next week. If Nvidia goes down next week, then after 127, the next level of support is a 121.04. And after that, 112.15. So I'm not expecting Nvidia to go down to 112 before the earnings. So the more chances for Nvidia is to go up in next week or two versus going down. And based on the MACD chart, MACD line is still above the zero level, so that tells the positive momentum is still with Nvidia at this point. So next week, my assessment is Nvidia should also close positive. And if you take a look Bollinger Bands, you see the gap between upper band and the lower band is contracting as of Friday. So that tells, some consolidation started happening on Friday last week. So on Monday, we'll see if Nvidia goes up further or goes down. So I'm guessing on Monday, based on the Bollinger Bands, we should not expect a big movement on Monday. But that's purely based on Bollinger Bands. Now let's take a look other news regarding Nvidia and other data analysis. You see some news regarding Nvidia and also overall market. So starting with this one that says Broadcom's $1 trillion run, analysts expect ASIC to take 10 to 15% market share backed by AI compute demand. Let's open it. So as you know, Broadcom application specific integrated circuit business is going in the right direction. 2025 from Gartner should also be a very good year for ASIC demand, right? So that would trigger further positive momentum for Broadcom. So if you are invested in Broadcom, probably you are doing the right thing in my opinion. Let's take a look this one, and that is from Google. Google's quantum computing chief challenges Nvidia's Jensen Huang 20-year timeline. In their opinion, in next 5 years, we would see a real world application. So if that happens, that should further boost Nvidia GPU demand. So that's a good thing for Nvidia if that happens. Now, another good one for NVIDIA, and that is NVIDIA's Hopper Blackwell see growing demand despite DeepSeek challenges. That is from Morgan Stanley. So that's perfectly in line with my previous week assessment, where I told you guys that the DeepSeek factor is temporary. In the long term, I do not see NVIDIA demand to go away. Instead, Nvidia demand should go further up in the long term because as the competition goes up, the GPU demand will also go up. At this point, there is no solid competitor for Nvidia in the market as of this point. So as I told you before in this video that SMCI is having a good time, so I'm expecting further momentum on SMCI. I have SMCI shares bought few weeks ago. I was in loss, but now I am in profit. I'm just keeping SMCI stock for next few weeks. We'll see how it goes. So now this one that says that DeepSeek sell-off is a buying opportunity for Nvidia stock. So my assessment was similar in the last week where I said if Nvidia goes down to around 112, that would be an excellent buying opportunity. Nvidia went down to probably about 113, and I also had my buy position around 112, but I was not lucky enough that Nvidia did not go further down. So, but if some of you bought Nvidia around 113 or 114, probably that was a very good buy. And in just week or two, Nvidia is again on 130. So you made a good profit in just few weeks, if you bought Nvidia around 113 or 114. So as of this point, that's all about news regarding Nvidia. I do not find any other important news regarding Nvidia. Now let's take a look my watch list. So on my watch list, you see the mixed picture. Some are positive, some are negative. Nvidia had a good time on Friday, 0.90 positive. The biggest positive change is on SMCI. But SoundHound, Tesla, And even Amazon didn't have a good time on Friday last week. So Tesla continues to go down. So Tesla is not having a good time since last week. I have some Tesla shares. So in my opinion, Tesla should also bounce back in next few weeks or so. So this is just a temporary correction on Tesla. On regarding Amazon, the future outlook was not so promising. So that's why you see Amazon is also going down. And regarding the economic data for next week, you see we have nothing scheduled on Monday, Tuesday, no big data is coming. Wednesday, we have CPI data or the inflation data. So Wednesday is very important for overall market. And Thursday, we have PPI data, and that's also important. Friday, nothing much. So Wednesday and Thursday are big for the market in terms of the economic data. I will go over on the CPI data in further detail in my early next week video. So that's all about my analysis and assessment for next week. Overall, I am positive that Nvidia is going in the upward direction. And in general, you see that there is no solid competitor for NVIDIA GPUs at this point. And the demand for GPU will go further up in the near future. Okay. So whenever you see NVIDIA going down or a big drop on NVIDIA, in my opinion, that's temporary. So NVIDIA should be able to bounce back if that happens. So I will keep invested on NVIDIA. So if I get more opportunity when NVIDIA drops big, I'll keep buying more NVIDIA. So that's my suggestion to you guys as well. I hope you like the video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more in the next video. Take care.